Alright, what's up guys? Got a little later than expected, but I was running around doing hellcat things, getting some stuff together, and then got caught in Friday rush hour traffic trying to get back here to do this live. But we'll let a few people join in, and while we do that, we'll make sure everybody can hear me. Everything's good. Kind of rearranged the office here a little bit, so you'll notice a little bit of a different background, but a package just showed up too, so I'm going to open that package while I wait for some of you guys to join in, and then I'll show you guys what came in the package in a few minutes here. So I'm just going to open this while you guys join into the live. It's actually a pretty exciting thing. It's for the Dakota as well, so. This is, this week's episode on the hellcat is super long too. I think it is, like hands down, it's the longest episode I've ever made. It's 1 hour long. I think it's just over an hour. And this week was kind of strange. It's like I didn't feel like I accomplished a ton on the Dakota, but at the same time, I got a lot of stuff done, and I was working on it the whole time. It's a box inside a box. And another box. I promise it's not involved parts. But yeah, I was working on the Dakota all week, amongst other things. And I don't know, I didn't feel like we accomplished one particular task, but it ended up being like a 1 hour long episode of just messing with different stuff and getting things ready so that we can be ready for that event in like 3 weeks or whenever that is. So if you guys don't already know, I think I said it in almost every video or live, we're going to be at Carlisle Chrysler Nationals in Pennsylvania. I believe it's the 7th. No. It's like, I think we're going to be setting up around 7th or 8th, but it's a weekend of like the 9th to the 11th or so of July. Ooh, this is looking legit. Jeez. Okay. So, we have a caliper, boys. We have a caliper. Holy smokes. Alright, so I'm going to end up showing you guys in the video what's going on. Maybe I shouldn't show you guys that side of it, but check it out. Can't show you the front and the side because then that'll kind of give it away, but it is a Brembo caliper. You guys will see in the video, I think I'm going to launch it tomorrow, but I ended up buying a brand new Brembo caliper. You guys will find out the reasons why, but check it out. So I've got this one. And I've got another one on its way. But we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. See what you guys are saying. And then we'll get this live kicked off. It's pretty cool actually. So it's got brand new hardware, pins, pads in the bag. But I don't know if we're probably not going to use these pads, because I got to get new pads for the other side so that they match left to right. But anyways, what's up guys? So Albert says hi. What's up, Albert? Denver, yo, what's up? Or Denner Thomas, what up? Mopar, hey Mopar brother, what's up? Juan in a million, what's up? What's up? Mr. J Magoo, content is great no matter the length. Thanks, man. That's what I'm trying to do. Trying to make a bunch of different videos. Before I get to your question, I'll just touch base on what Mr. J Magoo is saying. So I've been trying to make like a whole episode of Dakota stuff throughout the week so that we have a hellcat episode every week. But at the same time, in between, I'm trying to deliver some smaller, easier videos, which I'm trying to get the RAM set up so that it's all ready to go, like my daily is good to go, and kind of do some small mods to that at the same time to get it kind of spiced up a little bit. So that's why I'm kind of sneaking in some RAM videos throughout the week, but I'm working on the hellcat throughout the week so that I can give you guys a hellcat episode by the end of the week. So that's kind of the way it's working right now. So it's not like I'm not doing anything to hellcat, but I'm just working on it throughout the week. and then posting that episode on the weekend for you guys. So, but pretty soon it's kind of gonna switch a little bit. We're gonna have some really different and fresh content coming, because once the hellcat is kind of situated where I can actually use it, which is what I'm trying to do right now for the next couple weeks. I only have 2 weeks or so, give or take, until I got to load up the trailer, load up the hellcat, and go to some of these events. So we're going to be going all the way across country to Pennsylvania with that truck. So I'm trying to like just bust my butt over here to get that thing ready. What's my opinion on CTSV? I like them. I think they're cool. I mean, you're getting the performance of a Corvette, depending on what year you're getting, but you're getting the performance of a Corvette in a luxury vehicle. So I think they're cool. I would buy one, but it just depends what year you're getting. Like the older ones just have, they usually always put like the Z06 engines in it, depending on what year or era you're going for. But I don't know, the latest ones are supercharged, or not the latest ones, but I don't know what years. I don't like really know a whole lot about the different years on CTSVs, but I know some of them had the V8 supercharged engine that the C7 Corvettes had in it. I think some of the newer ones are turbocharged, but I don't know if I'm mixing up CTSV with the ATSV. But either way, I'm a fan. Devin says, "Are you going to go to Cars and Coffee San Clemente anytime soon with the hellcat?" We'll see. I will eventually, but right now there's just so many little loose ends that I'm trying to finish up with it, and it's a bit of a haul. It's like an hour and a half drive, so I haven't made that big of a adventure in the truck just yet. Still just working out little things. Today it did something funny to me too, which you guys will see in tomorrow's episode. I haven't decided if I'm going to post it tomorrow or Sunday. It really depends when I can get it uploaded, because it's like a 1 hour episode, so I don't know how long YouTube is going to take to upload a 1 hour video. I don't think I've ever uploaded a video that's over an hour before. So who knows? It's going to be a new process, but I'm sure it's going to take a little while. So I'll see if I get it up for you guys tomorrow, or if it's going to be a Sunday thing. But yeah, eventually I'll take it to some local stuff, but as of right now, no. Not this weekend. David says, "So with the 9,000 mile Dakota RT going for like 27 at Barrett and Jackson, do you feel this channel and Holly producing Hemi swap products for Dakota has helped drive the values up?" I don't know if I really would take credit for it. I'm like, some people are saying that I've helped increase values. I don't know. I don't care either way if I have or I haven't. So I mean, it's not like anything where I want to brag about. So I don't know. It's possible. I definitely think that we've been producing the most content for Dakotas out of anybody. I can say that pretty confidently. Like I said, not that I care that I am, I just think that it's kind of just happening. The amount of videos we've been pumping out on Dakotas, prior to me getting one and making videos, I never really saw too much content on them. So hopefully you guys are enjoying it. But yeah, I think the popularity is coming back, and the fact that Holly's been, producing all those parts for them, I think it's super cool that there's a lot more stuff you can do with them instead of just being stuck with a Magnum or LS swapping it like everybody's always done. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I'm excited about it, obviously. The fact that you can do some of these cool things, and I don't know, Holly's doing some other stuff too. So there's a lot of options out there for us being a Mopar channel. Like Holly's been an awesome sponsor for us and with the channel. So we could potentially venture off into some other platforms, and we could try out some of their different swap kits and stuff, because they offer swap kits for a bunch of different Mopars to fit Gen 3 Hemi engines in it. So we do have 2 more Gen 3 Hemi engines. It just depends, which direction we take the channel next. So we could do some sort of classic hot rod thing. They have the D100 swap kit. I know that. And I think it's from like 1972 up to like 93 or so. Don't quote me on the exact year, 92, 93. But they have a Hemi swap kit for those, along with a bunch of other cars too. So it's kind of cool. Biohazard says, "I just recently started watching your videos. Love the hellcat. Looks badass, man. I'm just getting into trucks myself. I have a 96 F-150. I'm trying to change leaf springs, brackets, and shackles now." Nice. Yeah, no, that's pretty cool, like, doing all this different stuff. The truck scene, I feel like, the truck scene has always been a scene, but I feel like it's getting bigger and better lately. I don't know. Maybe I'm just paying more attention to it, but I feel like the truck scene is growing lately. And it doesn't matter what brand you're in. There's a lot of Chevy guys out there running around single cabs. There's guys in F-150s with, you know, the lightweight chassis that they have. Like those F-150 single cabs are no joke either with all the aluminum. And then they got that 10-speed. Like those things are flying. So I don't know. It's a pretty exciting time to be an enthusiast. Like it doesn't really matter which brand you go with. You can do some cool stuff. Like even, I know a lot of guys aren't Chevy guys, but say you went out and bought, which I think would be a cool project, even though a lot of guys are Dodge or Mopar fans. Like if you got like a, I don't know, let's call it like a 04 Silverado single cab. Get a V6 model, pick it up for $3 grand, $4 grand, whatever. If you completely took out the drivetrain and then went and got a C7 Corvette drivetrain, supercharged V8 engine with 650 horse, drop that into the single cab Chevy, and there's so much aftermarket potential for those things. Like that thing would be a monster. That's like doing what we did essentially, is getting, you know, a truck and dropping a hellcat drivetrain. Well, the Corvette drivetrain makes like 650 horsepower, 650 torque. Like it's pretty much on par with the hellcat stuff. So I don't know, like you could do stuff like that if you're a Chevy guy, right? Like there's just all sorts of options and cool stuff you can do with any brand almost. Mr. J. Magoo, have you ever used Alpha OBD to program your RAM EVIC? I'm looking to swap my stock EVIC to Sport or Limited one. No, I haven't programmed that. I know it's possible. I don't know if you need a 4-digit security pin to do that. That's one of the weird things too, is some people are reluctant to give you that pin. That's one of the other battles I'm facing with the Hellcat, because all the electronics are out of a car that was, you know, wrecked, right? So even though I have a copy of the title from the salvage yard, to go to a dealer and ask them for the 4-digit pin, they're going to want a copy of either my registration or my title in my name. But I don't have the original crashed car in my name, but I have a copy of the title from the vehicle it came from, like the donor vehicle. So, because everything's all legit, of course, but it's just a weird thing. So sometimes you need that 4-digit security pin to change different things. One of them being programming keys. I actually have the key right here. So if I wanted to, I only have one remote right now for the vehicle. Actually, both my vehicles. I even have the Ram here too. But both of these vehicles, I only have one remote. If I wanted to program a remote, you need that 4-digit security pin. The Ram I could obviously probably get, even though it's a lot of guys have said you have to jump through hoops to get it. But yeah, the Ram, since I have the registration and ownership or title and everything, then we're good to go. But the Hellcat is a little bit different. But yeah, I haven't had to program it. But actually, you know who has done it? If you want to go check out or bug somebody, is Custom Black Guns. I don't know, a lot of guys are familiar with his channel, but he does a lot of Ram content. I know he put a limited EVIC into his. I don't think he got the security pin, but if you pop on over to his channel, or you can find him on Facebook. He's on all the tuned Rams forums and stuff like that. So I would go check out Custom Black Guns, because I know he's done that swap, so he would know exactly. Vinny says, how are you enjoying the EcoDiesel? Actually, really good. So I just drove it again today. It's really starting to grow on me. And the fact that, like, I've never really beat on it too much, but today I had some running around to do and had to get some places in a short amount of time, and I was stepping on it pretty good. I still haven't, oddly enough, full throttle floored it yet. I don't know why, but yeah, when you lay into that thing, it's got a lot of torque. It has more torque than the Hemi, and it makes it a lot lower. So it makes 420 foot-pounds of torque at 2,000 RPM. So, like, you feel that thing. When you step on it, it moves. Like, it's not no slouch. I know it's not as fast as the Hemi because the horsepower is lower, but when you're just, like, trying to overtake somebody and you chomp on it, it moves. Plus, you get amazing fuel economy, so, I mean, it's kind of win-win. Pedro says, what are your thoughts on the 5.9? Can I get some serious power out of it? It's a 94. Those of you guys that have been around the channel for a little while, you'll know my thoughts and feelings on the Magnum platform and the 5.9. So we did all that stuff. If you guys go back and dig through the old videos, we did all the bolt-ons you could do to a 5.9. We even threw a cam in it, and the thing was just still kind of a turd. So don't want to offend anybody that's, you know, a 5.9 fan, but it takes a lot of money to make the 5.9 fast. And I know a lot of guys will try to put like LA parts on them, the older version of that engine, and they'll try to kind of convert stuff so that they can get them to breathe better. I mean, the displacement's not an issue, it's just everything after that. The heads are a terrible design from the factory, they're really restrictive. A lot of guys will go with like an Edelbrock or an aftermarket head. So they'll either do that or they'll try to bolt something else onto it and try to get away from that. The other thing too is the intake plenum isn't exactly the best either. It's got that big kegger on it, and I don't know. It's just the way the kegger is too. It's your engine oil is like superheating your intake air temperature or your intake temps too. It's just driving everything up. So I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of that engine. It's just old technology, and it's hard to make a lot of power out of it. You can make power out of it, but like I said, it's not on tap, that's for sure. It's a lot easier to make more power with some of the more modern stuff. So I don't know. Personally, I would say, if you're asking for my opinion, I would save up some money, go to a junkyard, get yourself a junkyard Hemi, probably pick it up for $1,500, $2,000. There's tons of them out there. You can get one all the way back to like 03. Get yourself a junkyard Hemi, head on over to Ollie, get yourself the Hooker Blackheart swap kit, and drop all of it in. The engine mounts from those guys, like if you wanted to really do it on a budget, the engine mounts are only a few $100. So I don't know. I think it's super cost effective to do something like this. Yeah, you're gonna have to figure out the electronics aspect of it, but if you go to a junkyard, or if you even buy like a smashed, older Hemi vehicle, whether it's Ram or a Durango or whatever, and you take the electronics out of it, you can do it on a budget. Like if I'm trying to run numbers on in my head, the amount of money you would have to throw at a Magnum, by the time, say you had a Magnum, and you went and got a supercharger kit, like a Pro Charger kit, that kit is like $6,000 or so for a supercharger kit. If you found it used, if you came up on a deal, you're like $3,500 for a used kit, give or take. And then you still have to get all the supporting mods. Like you're still gonna have to make it breathe better with, headers. Headers are gonna run you, depending on what you get, anywhere from $500 to $1,500. You're gonna have to find some sort of intake. If you go with the Hughes air gap, since the M1's kind of hard to find, go with the Hughes air gap. That's like $1,000 right there. So you're gonna end up racking up a pretty hefty bill before you start making any power. And even if you did the same setup like I had, if you took a stock long block 5.9, supercharged it, did some bolt-ons, and if you did like every single bolt-on possible, you're still only gonna make like a hot 350 to 400 horse. Whereas if you went to the junkyard, got a $1,500 or $2,000, 5.7, which is, I'm talking pretty realistic numbers here. I'm pretty sure you get a 5.7 for $1,500 or $2,000 depending on mileage. Went and bought the swap engine brackets and engine mounts, probably a few $100 there. So let's call it $2,500 in some brackets. You go and get the Hooker Blackheart swap headers. I think they're around. Don't quote me on price. I think they're just under $1,000. Let's call it $1,000. We'll round it up. $3,500. And then you have to get the engine management. So let's say you drop $1,000 on engine management, whether you go and buy all the electronics and wiring from a junkyard, or you go ahead and go and get a Holley Dominator system or whatever you do. I'm giving you $1,000 budget. You're still $4,500 into this. You're still going to be less than buying a supercharger or Pro Charger kit. So I don't know. And then you have way more potential to turn up the 5.7 engine than you do the 5.9 Magnum. But I don't know. I've already crunched the numbers, and it just made more sense rather than try to make an old technology engine go fast, just to put in a Gen 3 Hemi. And that's where it kind of snowballed. At first I was like, let's just Hemi swap it. And then it became, let's 6.4 swap it. And when I say Hemi, I kind of mean 5.7, kind of like the entry level. Then it became 6.4. Then it became, what's the point of putting a 6.4 in it if we're going to supercharge it or pro charge it? Then it's going to end up racking up the price of the 6.4. Then we ended up at Hellcat. So that was the chain of events that brought us there. Let's see. Let me just make sure I'm going in order with your guys' comments. Henry says, how many little things do you have left? I was thinking about the little things throughout the build. Yeah, so there's a lot of little things, and that's what I'm tackling right now. And if you guys are just joining the live, I've kind of mentioned the Hellcat episode for this weekend is over 1 hour long. So I did a ton of stuff. Hopefully you guys find it entertaining. I'm just documenting. For me, it wasn't the most exciting stuff, but it was a lot of little things that are adding up to getting this thing done. A lot of research and testing and all that stuff went into this episode to kind of advance us and make sure that we're ready for Carlisle over in Pennsylvania. So I had to figure out all the braking. So that you guys will see in this weekend's episode, where I tested all the different brake stuff that I have for front calipers. You guys already know we did the rear disc conversion. I'm trying to figure out a solution for the front so we have awesome stopping power. I have everything now. Well, sorry, everything's on its way. I have most of everything, and then it's up to me to get it working. I'm still waiting on Earl's lines and one other caliper, and then I can get it going. But I was testing all sorts of different combo stuff. We tried different calipers. We tried 6-piston calipers, 4-piston calipers. We were taking parts off the Viper, testing stuff, looking at stuff, swapping wheels. We had the Viper wheels on the Dakota, so you guys will see all that in tomorrow's episode. But I finally got one piece of the puzzle. I won't show you guys the front of this because it'll kind of give it away, but we've got a brand new Brembo, if you guys can see that logo, caliper. Just showed up today, so this was part of the puzzle that I needed to get this whole thing done. And I'm waiting on the other caliper to show up so that I can get to work on that. But yeah, there's a lot of little things. I also had to figure out the headliner stuff, kind of research that, get that all prepped. I had to go and get some fiberglass supplies so that I can fill the different voids on it. And then I got the suede headliner. I had to order the material for that, make sure I had enough material. I had to get all that stuff so that we can get this thing rolling. But there's a lot of researching stuff because there's a lot of stuff that I had to figure out and ordering parts and checking stuff and measuring things. Even the brake lines, I had to go out and measure every single brake line length that we got from Earl's. So we got all stainless steel brake lines coming, but I had to measure it all. I had to figure out what fittings we wanted. All that stuff went down this week. But you guys will see that all tomorrow. We also got on traction bars. So the CalTrack bars are now on. What else? Whole lot of stuff. We ended up putting different wheels on. I just got back from the tire shop again, which you guys will see. So whole lot of stuff going on. But yeah, just a ton of little things. But it's it's got to get done either way. And then we also have a full trailer build. I think I've mentioned to you guys before. So I'm gonna do a little trailer series. Probably going to be only like 1 or 2 videos, but still stuff that has to get done. I have to get the trailer ready and make sure it's good to drive all the way across country. So I got to check all the wheel bearings, check all the brakes. We're putting a new winch in. Anvil winches hooked us up. We also have new tie-down straps from Mr. Gasket, I believe. I haven't even opened the box. Just all sorts of parts and stuff are just being delivered so that we can make sure we're good to go. And then I also have to install the weight distribution hitch on my truck and on the trailer and get all that stuff going. And I got to test it, even just if it's driving around the block, and make sure that when we put the Dakota in that the truck isn't all sacked out. Otherwise, I got to order airbags. There's like a whole thing. There's so much to get done in the next couple weeks, but we're plugging away on it. Alexander says, where are you from? SoCal. B-Man, I'm thinking on getting a 2014 Camaro 2SS. What do you think? I don't know a ton about those, I'll be honest. But, I mean, they're a solid platform. You can't go wrong with like the LS. There's a lot of aftermarket options out there. So you'll be able to, I mean, the sky's the limit as far as power of what you want to make. Because you can modify the heck out of that thing. Arnold says, looking at the Ram TRX, what's your thoughts on that truck? People have asked me before what I think about it. I think it's cool that it exists, but I don't understand it necessarily. I think it looks aggressive and it looks cool, but who's realistically going to go I mean, almost getting caught with my foot in my mouth. Who's realistically going to go buy a $100,000 truck and use it for what the commercials show it is, like going off jumps and all that stuff? The truck's not really meant for that. It's meant to be like a rugged mall crawler. It's not really meant to go do trophy truck things. Which Street Speed 717 proved that. He went off a little jump and the thing is so nose heavy that it just dived. So if you guys notice, the reason why I've explained this and had this argument with some friends before. If you watch Street Speed's video, when he hits the jump, and even if you watch any of the promo videos, the truck will always go up in the air, and then it'll kind of lean to the front passenger side. If you guys are wondering why that is, the engine's not centered in the engine bay. The engine's always off to the passenger side. Same as even if you look at the Dakota, where the steering column goes, there's always more room on that side, and the engine's always offset to the passenger side. So when you take a big heavy engine like a Hellcat engine, you offset it to the passenger side, and then you try to launch it off a jump, you're gonna get a nosedive on the front passenger side. So because I watch press videos and where they start getting the wheels off the ground, you'll see the thing starts to dive to the front passenger side. That's because the engine is way over there. So there's a lot of weight on that front corner. But yeah, I mean, what we're gonna do, and I'm pretty 99% sure what this is the plan. Once we get the Hellcat finished, the next project is going to be with that Hellcat engine. I want to make a modern day SRT10, Ram. So call it SRT8 since it's 8 cylinders, whatever you want to call it. I want to make like a modern sport truck version of a Ram and build it all properly, all factory, and build like an SRT version of a single cab Ram, because Ram kind of missed the opportunity on that. They never built one for us. They had the SRT8, they had the SRT10 Ram, like the Viper truck, but then in the 4th gen single cab, they only gave us the 5.7. They never gave us anything else. So I want to build a modern day, whatever we're going to call it, SRT8, single cab, whatever, but it's going to have the Hellcat drivetrain, 8-speed, or 8 HP 90 transmission, so it'll have the 8-speed transmission. Put the steering wheel on it with the paddle shifters, and do it the way it should have came from the factory. So similar to how we did or are doing the Dakota or the Hellcat, whatever. I want to do that in a Ram, and it'll be kind of like the Hellcota's bigger brother. So that's kind of the idea that I'm starting to stir up in my head for once we finish the Dakota. I want to finish that first before we move on to that, but I'm thinking that's what we're going to do, because I know there's a couple guys that have Hellcat swapped their single cab Rams, but I don't know. I want to document it. I want to maybe do some stuff on the outside, make it look like it came like an SRT vehicle and whatnot. Do some different stuff and make it really cool looking. So it's kind of what I'm thinking. And then I think we'll save the 5.7. If you guys don't know or you're new to the channel, we also have a brand new 5.7 long block crate motor sitting in the box. I was going to put it in one of my last trucks, but we didn't, and now I have a brand new crate motor, which isn't a bad thing to have. So what I'm going to do is we're probably going to save that. I want to maybe do like a classic. Since it's just a 5.7, I'm thinking maybe we stuff it into a classic. Thinking maybe like a 1964 D100 would be pretty cool. Throw that thing in there. I have a bunch of parts from a Holly for an engine build on the 5.7, so I wanted to do that stuff with you guys. So we'll probably do like an engine stand build, put a bunch of cool parts on it, spice it up, make it look real trick, and then we'll drop it into something. But I think you guys can tell from what I'm saying right now, like we have a lot on the go, so there's a lot to get excited about on this channel, but let me know what you guys are excited about most. Let's go to the next question. Indica Performance Injection Equipment is building me a 5.9 short block for boost using one of their front mount turbo setups too, and it's costing me lots of money. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible. It's just like you mentioned, it does cost a lot of money to go fast. Not because they charge a lot, just because the platform costs to build. Yeah, I agree. Almost immediately after I started the build, I thought I should have found a junkyard Hemi. So yeah, I'm just catching up to your comments from what I was saying probably a few minutes ago. But yeah, you're echoing exactly my thoughts, because like I said, I'm not bashing the Magnum platform. I mean, it's cool that it exists. I mean, they sound good. I really like the sound of the Magnum platform. I mean, that's not a huge factor, but they do sound good. But just the fact that it's just a money pit. You can get them there. Like, I'm not saying you can't make the power, but by the time you get them there, like you're gonna look at the bill and wonder why, you didn't go a different direction maybe. So I kind of ran the numbers and didn't want to go that route. When Jason was building his truck, I kind of saw, and we went and talked to IMM Engines over at Brian, and we asked him how much to build an engine, and that was before like all these crazy price surges, and it was like 8 to 10 grand to build an engine, and we were supplying the engine and supplying a lot of the parts. So I just thought we're gonna be halfway into hellcat swap. Like I said, 8 to 10 grand. I can't even remember what the heck do we pay for the hellcat swap. It's been so long. 17 grand, 19 grand. I can't remember. One of the two. But yeah, we got a good deal from the wrecking yard on that stuff, and I feel like in the long run, that was probably the better option. Now all the prices have gone up since last fall, but it's just crazy what's going on this year. Devin, how effective is a EOM V6 fan conversion on a V8 if I want to add more power? I don't know what EOM is. I don't know if you're saying electric. I don't know. Which truck are you talking about? Because I've done the V6 fan on the Hemi stuff, on the 4th Gen Hemis, and that's a good mod to do, but I don't know what EOM V6 fan is. Let's go to the next question. Have you started working on door panels? No, I have not. So I haven't messed with door panels. Right now I'm trying to do all the mechanical stuff. Oh, that's the other thing. So we have and you guys will see it in this weekend's episode for the Hellcat, we have all of the rear drivetrain components. They're here, sitting here, ready to go. And I'll be able to confirm this, but we might, and that stuff is thanks to Gear Effects. So huge shout out to Gear Effects. You guys can check them out on Instagram, and I've tagged them in a couple of my posts. So Gear FX Drivelines, I believe, is what their Instagram handle is, but I've tagged them, so go head over to Instagram, and you'll also see it on tomorrow's episode as well, and I'll have all the links in there for them. But they hooked us up with a full package, so that's our rear differential, our 9 1/4 is going to be able to take the abuse. Yeah, I'm not going to spoil it, but yeah, we've got a new... I don't even want to spoil it. I'll just let you guys watch tomorrow. But we have all the parts for the differential, so the only thing is I haven't rebuilt a differential before. Not that it scares me, but you do need some special tools along with a press to get the bearings on and off. So I kind of wanted to go to a shop to install it and watch, learn, all that stuff. But then I was talking to, in discussion with Gear Effects, we might actually go to the Gear Effects headquarters over in North Carolina after we hit the event at Carlisle. So I might actually end up over there, get the professionals to install it, and I'll document that stuff with you guys. And they might install the components that they sent me, and we'll have it 100% dialed. So that's what they actually specialize in. You ship them your axle, or you can buy like a pre-built one that's all geared up and beefed up for your application. So I think I would feel a little bit better beating on it if they installed it versus me. But I kind of just wanted, like I said, want to see how somebody does it so I can learn, see all the backlash. The only thing that kind of not scares me, but I just want to see somebody do is when you put the shims on, you have to press the bearing on, and getting that calculation right is what I'm wrapping my head around. So when they put the pinion, like I said, you have your pinion, you put all your shims on, and then you put the bearing on, you have to press it on, is calculating that so that you don't have to keep taking it apart, and then you have to take your bearing back off. So I don't know, like with me not having all the special tools to be able to take that bearing off, I don't want to risk destroying the bearing, putting it on and off a bunch of times. Plus you have the crush sleeve. They give you 2 crush sleeves, but these guys, somebody that does it a lot probably has the special tools to be able to measure exactly how much shims you're going to need, and they might not have to take it apart twice or multiple times. So I kind of want to watch somebody that's done it more than once and see how they do it. But yeah, we have parts for that as well. But yeah, door panels, we'll see. I don't know if I'll get to it before the show. If anything, I might just try to make my stock Dakota door panels fit, at least so it's not bare metal. Might just cut out the portion that's not fitting currently and maybe just, I don't know, just dress it in just temporarily, at least so it's not metal. But if not, it's not the end of the world. I don't think people are going to be judging us for not having door panels on, given everything else we've done. Why are the 3rd gen Ram 2004, 2008 not popular, and many call them underdogs? Could it be the weak transmissions that Dodge used to have that made the 5.7 Hemi weak at that time? No. So it's not that it's not popular. I mean, yes, the 4th gens were a little bit more popular, but the 2004 and actually it's 2003 is when they came out with the 3rd gen Hemi. But yeah, that year range, they didn't have variable valve timing. So that was a huge leap in performance that the 2009 had. So they were able to advance the cam electronically in the 2009 to current Hemi. So that's why a lot of the newer ones are making a lot more power. And that's why it went from like 345, I believe it was 345 horse from like the 03 to 08 up to 395. So there was like a 50 horsepower jump. And there's a lot of contributing factors to that, but one of them was the variable valve timing, which gave them a lot of advantage. But yeah, there's nothing, I mean, you can build one of those 03 to 08 Hemi, Gen 3 Hemi engines. But yeah, there's lots of performance stuff out there. Actually, on the newer like 09 to current Hemi stuff, a lot of guys will put in cam phasers. So what it'll do is they'll actually limit the amount that it can advance or retard the cam. So, like I said, with the 03 to 08 Hemi engines and not being able to advance the cam, some of the guys are stopping that and not actually playing with the variable valve timing on the newer stuff. So I don't necessarily think it's a disadvantage if you start modifying it. Darren, when it's all said and done, will you be willing to share the total cost from beginning to end of the Hellcat, or you want to keep it private? I don't know, honestly. Not that I don't want to keep it private, but I don't. It's been like since last fall that I started it, and to keep track of every single little thing, like, not to say that I'm not like looking at what I'm spending, but I'm just getting it done. So I'm not in an Excel spreadsheet entering every little tiny thing that I buy, and it's been a lot of stuff. Like, where does it end? Like, I've had to buy special tools. I've had to buy different tools just to get things done. Just different stuff to make it all happen. So I don't know where it ends as far as what's associated with building it. Plus, some parts have been sponsored parts, so adding the true cost of that stuff together, like, it's just, I don't know. I know I can tell you guys what the truck's probably going to be worth in the end. I am going to get it appraised at some point as well. I have to do that anyways for insurance purposes, but yeah, I mean, I'll probably end up getting it appraised, and I'll probably share that. That's probably the more easiest thing. I can give you guys like a rough ballpark. Like, if I had to guess, I would probably say by the time we're all done with this thing, if you had to build one and buy everything that we bought, like, it's probably going to be an expense of $50K or something like that. If you had to go out and buy everything that we put on it, but I don't know. All the prices keep changing too, so that's the other factor. Like, even the price of finding a hellcat swap, that thing keeps going up like crazy too. So I think we got in at a good time right before all these crazy price hikes and all that stuff, like buying the swap and getting that all dialed in. I think we did pretty good. I mean, it seemed like a lot of money at the time, but looking back, like, everything's just been going up. So I'm glad we pulled the trigger. It was a big one, but took a shot in the dark, took a gamble, and yeah, I have no regrets about doing this all. 2004, 2008 transmissions aren't great. They're not the worst. I mean, they're not. I'm kind of biased. So my old man has a 05 Ram 1500. We towed the same trailer pretty much that I have now, like a 24-foot enclosed trailer. That truck it's in Canada, so it's got kilometers on it. The odometer stopped working, so only his PCM is recording miles at this point. But the last we checked, I think it had over 750 or 800,000 kilometers on it, which is like, I don't even know what the heck that is in miles. It's got to be like 400,000, 500,000 miles on a 2005 Ram 1500 Hemi quad cab 4-wheel drive. And that transmission, I remember we were towing the trailer one time, and I don't know if it smoked it or it had a small leak, but I remember we ran out of transmission fluid because we were going up a hill and the truck just wouldn't keep going. Like, it just, the RPMs were soaring and we weren't going anywhere. We were towing a fully loaded 24-foot trailer. We pull over, check the dipstick, and it's down on fluid. We let it cool down for like 15 minutes, added fluid back into it. I want to say we put at least 2 or 3 quarts in it or whatever we had with us in the truck. And I don't know, my dad must have known that it was leaking or something, but we dumped in the fluid, waited like 15 minutes, and then we kept driving. Like, it just, whatever, I guess from not having enough fluid in it, I'm not like a transmission specialist, but we added the fluid to it, and I was young at the time, so don't blame me for not having good maintenance. That was his truck, but yeah, we dumped in the fluid and we just kept going, and we were towing, like I said, a fully loaded 24-foot trailer, and we kept going. I think we were in Vermont at the time because we were going to all the snowcross races. But yeah, we kept towing it, went to the race. That was on the way to the race, and then we towed it like the 7 to 10 hours all the way back home again. So, and that transmission lasted forever. The only thing, somehow he found a weird deal. The torque converter eventually went on it. And what he ended up doing was he found somehow a torque converter with a brand new transmission for like $1,500, which was the price of a torque converter. So he just, when he had somebody change the transmission or change his torque converter, the transmission was already off, so he put the new transmission on it. And that truck's still running today. But that transmission had like a few 100,000 miles on it, and he's not easy on things. And like I said, a lot of it was towing a huge heavy trailer too, so I don't know. I know the older transmissions weren't that good, like the one that was originally in the Dakota, like the 46RE, those were definitely not known to be good, but once, some people hate to admit this, but once like Daimler, Chrysler, like they kind of merged with Mercedes, the quality really started to come up, in my opinion at least. Like prior to that, like, you know, 02 and before all that merger happened, the transmissions were terrible, but when they merged with Daimler, however you say it, I really feel like the quality came up in their transmissions and everything kind of improved. Brian, no question, just wanted to say hi and thanks for the videos. Amazing Hellcat. As a Mopar guy, I'm learning a bunch. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I'm just sharing my build. Hopefully you guys enjoy it, and I'm trying to make helpful videos as well as, you know, share my own personal build with you guys. So I'm excited for what's going to come. Like I said, I'm just trying to get this thing dialed in, and then we'll be on the road here in the next few weeks and hitting some events. Henry says, gonna build a modern day super truck, just what I was hoping for. You'll be building my dream. Awesome. Yeah, like I think that's when people keep asking me about the TRX. I think the TRX should have been a sport truck, but I get it. They have to, you know, compete with the Raptor and stuff like that, so they did have to make a Raptor competitor, but I do think it would be nice to have a sport truck as well. Modern one, because they haven't made one in a while. But it's weird, right? Like, they've always made, like, a modern sport truck, right? So they had the SRT-10, which they made. The SRT division made that thing, but it's kind of strange that they skipped the 4th gen Ram. So, but it's okay. We'll build it. Brian says, I have a Ram and Warlock, and the low beam HIDs are junk. Okay, one question. Do you have other team members behind the scenes, or are you doing this all solo as it happens? No, it's just me. Honestly, it's just me. So I'm the guy ordering the parts, getting the parts, doing the wrenching, filming, editing. So this is just a full-time gig at this point. So, but I'm enjoying it. But like I said, sometimes, you know, I have to do a lot of research and stuff, so there's a lot of time that goes into this, even behind the scenes, like having to research parts, make sure that I have parts coming so that I can keep working. And like I said, I think I showed you guys this a few times, but if you guys are joining in, like stuff like this, like I had to order this Brembo caliper to make sure that we have it on its way so that I can keep working and get these on the front of the truck. So I got this one, and I got one more showing up next week. I just ordered it today, but I had to track it down and find it. Yeah, as far as Brian, if you haven't seen the video I just posted today, check out the video I posted today, probably like only a couple hours or so ago, on the HIDs versus LEDs in the low beam projectors. I do have to laugh because everybody kept calling me out on that, and I've done this test before, and I don't care what everybody says. They always say, "Oh, you didn't clock the LEDs, good. You should have spent more money on the LEDs. Go and spend money on these $300 LEDs. Go over here and spend $300 on this HID kit." That defeats the whole purpose of this channel. Like, I'm here to, and I get a kick out of, and that's kind of, what I like to do is find good hidden gems, stuff that's cost effective. I'm not trying to get you guys to go out and spend, hundreds of dollars on lighting kits. Like, I'm trying to be practical as much as you guys are, like the everyday working man. Let's find some bulbs that we can put in our trucks that work good, that aren't going to break the bank, that the wife's not going to get mad at you, that you're, you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to be upset about buying them. Let's keep it under $100, get some good lighting on there, and call it a day. Like, some guys will comment like, "Oh, you should go and spend $300 on the upgraded projectors that you can put in your headlights, and why didn't you put the newer projectors?" Yes, I could do that, but I'm not about to drop $1,000 on my headlights to sit there and put switchback LEDs and all this stuff. Maybe, but most people, I think I speak for all you guys, like, we're not going to sit there and drop $1,000 on our headlights on our truck. Like, it's just not going to happen. Let's find some good bulbs that we can put in there, improve our lighting, and call it a day and move on. Like, I just think that's more practical. So that's what I'm doing with you guys. And that's why when I put in those LEDs, everybody swore by the new LEDs. I put them in. I clocked the chips the exact same way as the halogen bulbs. And everybody called me out saying I didn't clock them correctly. I told you guys if I clocked them the way that everybody was saying, the people that were commenting saying that I put them in the wrong way, that we're going to have the exact same problem. It's just going to move the dead spot in our beam pattern. And that's exactly what happened. We clocked it a different way. At first, like I said, I put the chipset this way, so the chips are on the top and the bottom, and the lights are shining out this way, and we had the dead spots on the side. I turn it this way, and the light's shining this way and that way, and then we have a dead spot directly in front of us, and we have it right in front of us as well. Like, both bad scenarios. Like, I don't know. I don't think there's any point to putting something like that. And those bulbs weren't cheap. They were like 60 something bucks, call it $70. So I don't think they were improvement. I think they were actually worse than putting a halogen in there. And then I showed you guys putting I think it's only like $50 HID kit, which I put in everything and they work amazing. But we put in the HID kit and all of a sudden, boom, we get tons of good lighting. No dead spots. It's an improvement over the halogen. And you guys will notice on that video that nobody's talking or anything about that. They're saying, "Oh, nobody's really saying anything." But like I said, I just put out the content. You guys, I let you guys be the judge of which way you want to go. But I'm trying to help you guys save some money and get some cool stuff on your truck without breaking the bank. That's what we're about here. Let's see. Force59 says, "Just slap an under construction sticker on the window for the show and nobody will care. It's not completed yet." Yeah, it still needs paint. I was hoping we could maybe get it to paint, but I'm working on this thing so much that I don't even think I could yank it to go get it painted. And I'm a little bit nervous to do that because I got to be able to make the show. So I don't want to take the thing apart to get it painted and then we're running out of time, because that would be a really bad situation if I were to do that. So I think I'm going to wait till I get back. Lamar says, "What's up, Lamar? Would you do a MBRP exhaust on the Eco Diesel?" No, I wouldn't. I don't think it's a good sounding engine. I don't know, just personal preference. So I like to keep it quiet. I'm going to be towing with that thing. And like I said, we're towing all the way to the East Coast and then all the way back. And then I plan on going to some other events. You guys got to remember, we're going all the way to Pennsylvania, or at least to Holly. I think we might actually tow it from Kentucky to the events with the Holly vehicle or Holly truck. But either way, I got to make it all the way to Bowling Green, Kentucky. And then I got to make it all the way back. I also probably might make a pit stop in North Carolina to get the rear end built. Who knows where else we'll stop on the way back. If there's any other events, I might hit them. And then I got to come all the way back here. And then in September, we're going back to Bowling Green, Kentucky for Holly Mopar. So I got to go all the way back there. And yeah, I don't really want to be listening to the exhaust screaming the whole time. So I'm You're not going to put any sort of exhaust or anything on the Eco Diesel, that's for sure. We have enough noisy other vehicles. Legend has it, this man's also a GTA legend. No, I'm not that good at Grand Theft Auto, I promise. If you guys are on GTA 5, I get on there from time to time. It's, you guys can add me on PlayStation, Boosted Motorsports, but it's spelled a little bit different. I ran out of characters. I'll put it here if you guys are interested. Okay. I just commented that if you guys are interested, if you guys are playing, you can add me there. I know I'm playing online with a few other subscribers too. When I get a chance, but right now it's all Hellcat right now. Would you Hellcat swap the Viper? No, I measured it. I mean, the Viper is the Viper because of, you know, the V10 in it. So, I don't know. If I did that, it wouldn't make it the Viper. Plus, I did the measurements. The Hellcat engine is too tall. So, it's too tall to be able to work. You'd have to, like, not run a hood. Or actually, I don't even think it would work because the engine's slightly under the windshield a little bit. So, yeah, it wouldn't work. So, like I said, I've considered it because I obviously walked over with a tape measure to check it, but no, it's a no-go. What's your opinion on the 2020 Toyota Tundra? Do you think it looks horrible or decent? I haven't even looked, to be honest. Let me look quickly. I mean, that truck hasn't been changed for a million years, so it's good that they finally changed it. It's not a bad-looking truck, actually. I wonder if they finally... Nope, I just answered my own question. I literally said it, and as soon as I saw it, I said, nope. I said, I wonder if they finally fixed the interior, and the interior is horrendous. Let me switch this for you guys. Give me 1 second, I'll show you guys what I'm looking at. So you're going to see this, and let me just change it for you guys. Alright, so this is what I was looking at. So I pulled up 2022 Toyota Tundra. I think it has kind of like that new Escalade look to it, if you ask me, like how it has like the teardrop near the fender, the lights coming down. But check out that interior, like the interior is horrendous. Like that's the one thing about these Tundras, the inside has never been anything to talk about. There's a lot of cheap plastic in it. And if you're going to compete in today's truck market, like you guys got to figure it out. What the heck is this thing? Tell me that stupid shifter doesn't look out of place. That is the dumbest looking thing I've ever seen. Seriously, that's where their shifter is? That makes zero... That can't be real, is it? Oh, it's just the angle. Okay, I thought it was smack dab in the center. But yeah, these, like... I swear they didn't even do anything to the interior. Like, these guys are just so out to lunch with their interior. Let's see. This looks like a more premium one, but yeah, this is that it? Or is that the Tacoma? No, that's the Tundra. It looks small inside. But why does that center console look different? Is that not the same thing? I don't know. They're way behind on their interiors for sure. Is this the Tundra? That looks really small inside, actually. Oh, no. See, it's the Tacoma. Why is it saying Tundra? Let's see if we get the... Yeah, these are all the Tacomas. Somehow it put us over to Tacoma. But yeah, I don't know. I think the outside looks half decent. Here's the back, I think. It says rendering. Yeah, it's not terrible. It looks half decent, I guess. Like this configuration, I think looks okay. Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, it looks better than the current one because they haven't changed that thing in a million years. But the inside's still garbage, unfortunately. But let me switch this view back. So yeah, I don't know. It's half decent, I guess, but I still wouldn't buy one. Like I said, you're not getting the interior unless it's cheaper than the rest of the competition. You're not getting the same quality interior that everybody else is on. Smash that thumbs up. I agree. Everybody hit the thumbs up if you guys are enjoying these live streams. I'm taking my Friday nights to hang out with you guys, so you guys better give me a thumbs up at least. It's the least you can do. Let's see. Nick says, John, do you know any good place to order pre-drilled headlight covers to run HIDs on the Ram? I'll double check on mine. I want to say, I don't know. Let me research that, and I'll leave a comment on the headlight video. I'll try to get that for you guys. But the reason why I don't know is because when I had my original ones, I drilled my original ones, and then I sold my HID kit to a subscriber, and then he bought those covers, and then he saw that I got a Ram, and then he asked me if I wanted it back. And when he sent it back, he gave me the covers as well. So I don't know where he bought them. So I'll try to find out for you guys, and I'll give you guys that information. Daniels, I'm a female, and you've helped me out tremendously on do-it-yourself repairs. A huge thank you. That's awesome. That's cool that that you're able to take some of the videos and do some of this stuff. That's what it's all about. Maybe look into making flat door cards out of Foamex, riveted or nut-serted in temporarily. Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, I might just modify the panels that I have for now and just to get them to fit and clear the dash, and at least that way it might be a little bit more finished, but we'll see. Will, what's up, man? Just watched your video on HIDs. I know everybody said that LEDs were better, but no games. You guys saw for yourself the difference, so. How's the body shop doing with the hood? I'll have to check in with them. I know they've been swamped lately, so I don't think it's finished just yet, but I'll find out for you guys. Brian says, keep it up. Thank you, sir. Keep up the great content. Thanks for answering my question. No problem. Have you considered an older Durango Hellcat swap? No, I haven't, because it's just so similar to what we just did. So I think we accomplished, you know, that platform. So I don't think I would do the Durango. Nothing against the Durango, but I just feel like it's something we already have accomplished with pretty much. The Dakota is pretty much a Durango with a bed, so we'll do something a little bit different for the next one. Have you ever thought of dropping the 8.1 V10 into a Charger, Challenger, or even a Durango? Not really, honestly. I mean, it makes decent power, but I think there's, like I said, the modern Hemi stuff is making so much power. I think it's a better, and there's more availability. That's the other thing. There's not a whole lot available for the Viper stuff, especially the older Viper engine. So I think I would probably do the Hemi stuff first, since it's more common. Or the budget way 8-liter V10 from the Ram. No, because that engine's a different engine and it doesn't really make that much jam. So that's just kind of an expanded Magnum platform. So yeah, I'm probably gonna stick with the modern Hemi stuff, to be honest. It's kind of where everybody's interest is at. It's where all the you know, the different sponsors they want to see. You know, the parts that they're coming out with go on that stuff too, and it's just easier to make power with the newer stuff. So we'll be sticking with that stuff, I think, for now at least. Will says, watch, bet somebody will elephant swap a Cybertruck in the future. I know, right? Probably. Motown says, I learned the V8 can fit into a 2020 4Runner. Yeah, I bet. It looks like those Thai diesel trucks with the 5-cylinder engines. Thought of dropping the 4.7 V8 in one from a junkyard. Not bad. 1UZ will sound like a NASCAR with the right parts. Highly suggest that for you. Would you Hellcat swap a Chrysler 300? There's another YouTuber that's doing it. You guys have probably seen him, Cal SRT or something. So he's already done it. He put a red eye in it. I still kind of, yeah, I'm not even gonna say anything. I can't say anything on that. No hate on that guy. I was gonna say I don't know where they're getting their parts from. That's all I'm gonna say. But what brand do you suggest for a supercharger? That's a tough one. I've had experience with 2 Pro Charger kits so far. It's kind of the bigger name. They have a lot of different kits for different vehicles. Yeah, it really depends. It depends what your application is. I mean, there's a lot of guys will go with either Pro Charger or Whipple. Those are the two bigger brands, or like a Vortec kit. Just depends what you're doing and what your goals are too, for me to be able to recommend something to you. Hi, BMW M3 GTR. I guess I don't know if that's your car, but yeah. So you guys will end up seeing the Hellcat episode this weekend. What else can I tell you on that? Well, you guys actually saw on the last episode, we ended up putting on the new wheels. And if you guys remember, we put on 315s on the rear, and then I had those 18-inch tires that we had on Jason's rims, and I pulled them off those rims so we could use them as fronts because they were already a 275. But when we put them on the 10.5-inch wide wheel, they kind of had a bit of a stretch to it, which I'm not huge on, but I thought maybe it might give us more clearance in the front, and we're not trying to, take a corner in this thing, so I figured it doesn't really matter. But it kind of looked a little bit weird, honestly. Like, I don't like that stretched tire look. So what I ended up doing is, that's why I was a little bit late to this live, is I went and bought 2 more tires. So I did, in fact, go and get 2 more, and I'll just kind of give you guys a sneak preview since you guys are joining me on the live. I went ahead and bought 2 more 315 Toyo TQs tires. So I went ahead and got those. I mounted them on the fronts. So I did do a test. I put and you guys will see that in tomorrow's video, I tested the rears on the front, because the other thing too is I bought those cheap tires and it was giving me a vibration in the front. We had to put like this much weight on those cheap tires just to get it to balance out on the brand new rim. So I wanted to go with a name brand tire, and when we ended up, when I was looking at it, I was trying to figure out, should I go with, keep a Toyo on there? Should I put a different kind of Toyo on there, the one that's going to last longer, and am I going to get something that's going to have the same side profile and all that stuff? I just decided to go with a square setup, so we're running 315s on all 4 corners right now. It looks beefy. So actually I haven't mounted them, but I have right now 315s in the front of the truck. Drove around and seemed to do okay with them. So we're gonna have 315s on all 4 corners. So that it's gonna be a drag. It's pretty much like a Mickey Thompson is what the Toyo TQs are. So we have them on all 4 corners right now, or going to have them as soon as I mount them tomorrow. But we'll have those on there, and that way we can rotate the tires too if we're wearing out the rears more than the fronts. But yeah, it's gonna be pretty beefy looking. So it's kind of like the Demon in the sense how it's got like that aggressive look on it. It's gonna have that 5-spoke with a little bit of meat on the tire. So it looks way better than having those 275s in the fronts. It's got like some nice meat on the wheels now. So I got all that stuff to fit, and then you guys will also see tomorrow I did some trimming, made some clearancing in the front so that we can fit those wheels a little bit better. So I spent some time with the plasma cutter. Actually, the more I think, I feel like I didn't do a whole lot to the truck, but the more I think about it, I did accomplish quite a bit. Like, I ended up using a plasma cutter on the truck and getting a bunch of different stuff done and sorted out on the truck. Had to do a lot of trimming and stuff, but we got it all sorted out. Let's get to some of you guys. For a 392. Yeah, so if you're doing a 392, I would say like Pro Charger or Whipple. If it was me personally, I don't know if you're in a car or a truck, depending on if your 392 is in a car or a truck, whatever it is. I would try to look for a used kit. That's always my way to go. It's pretty hard to beat up a supercharger kit. A lot of times people will be selling their truck or something. Even if they blew their truck up with the supercharger is usually okay because they're all self-contained oil, at least on the Pro Charger or Vortec units. So actually the Pro Charger kit that I had on my silver Ram, that thing I bought from somebody that blew their engine up with it, but they barely ran it, and that thing had no issues. So they ran it for a little bit. I guess they had some tuning issues, grenaded their truck, and then I bought it, got the proper tuning on it, everything ran great, and then I sold it to another guy local, and he's been destroying everybody at the local tracks for a while, and he literally would go every Thursday to the drag races, and I think he would do some some stuff in Mexico too, and he was beating the crap out of that thing for, I want to say, at least 2 years or so, and then he finally blew up his. And that supercharger kit is still alive and running, so I would try to get a used kit, save some money. Jump on the forums, all the Facebook groups. You're gonna have to be quick with your money and quick to jump on something like that. But try to find a used one, jump on it as soon as you can, and save some money. But yeah, whether it's a Whipple or a Pro Charge, just depends, what your goals are. But I do like an intercooled kit. I will say that much. So you can get, like, if you're gonna go do drag racing stuff and that's all you're worried about, a lot of guys will go with Whipple because they can, keep the engine and everything cool, run up to the line, send it, come back. Some guys will throw bags of ice and stuff on their supercharger, get it all cool, go back, line it up, send it. There's that way. Or if you get the Pro Charger kit, it's an intercooled kit, so it's better for the street because it's always cooling the charger. But you have a little bit more lag. It usually makes more power up top. Whereas if you go with something like a Whipple, it usually makes more power down low, and it's more on tap right when you hit it. Jamal says, get a Hellcat. Yeah, I mean, I don't have that kind of money to be throwing around, and we already have another Hellcat swap on queue, so I'd rather go with that. I think I've told you guys, or I mentioned in the last live, the Hellcat motor that I have here, it does have a ported blower on it. So that one's already going to be making more jam, and all we have to do is change a few things, put a smaller pulley on it, put some red-eye injectors in it, do some tuning, and she'll be making a lot more power too, but it just depends what we stick it in. Like I said, pretty sure we're going to put in a single cab 4th gen Ram. It's just, right now we're just trying to get through this project, start going to some of these shows. I still got to move, and then once we get settled in wherever we end up, then I can focus on the next thing. So, I mean, a Elephant would be cool, but they're stupid expensive if you can even get your hands on one. And you can make, similar power with the other stuff too. With just a Hellcat or Red Eye or any of that stuff, you can make big power too, as much as you really need. I have a Pro Charge F-150. I would like to race the Hellcat. Nice. Yeah, I mean, eventually we'll be at the tracks. We'll be doing that stuff, but we're still shaking everything down until it's ready to do stuff like that. Let's see. Supercharger, I'm not sure what you mean. Will says Cal SRT is going to put a Elephant crate engine in his 300 and put the Red Eye in his Track Hawk. Yeah, I don't know, I don't even want to say anything. I don't know where all that stuff is coming from, is all I'm going to say. I don't know. Motor Prism. Would you do any Cummins builds? As much as I'd like to, the problem with doing that stuff is if you guys are paying attention with different stuff that's going on, a lot of guys are getting themselves into trouble with, modifying those because they're really going at heavy after those guys and finding those guys for stuff like that, and especially people that are offering parts for them, tuning them, all that stuff, and doing that kind of stuff. It's just asking for trouble unless you're literally sticking just to the track. That's the problem. I do want to do, I guess when you say Cummins build, I do want to get a 2500 and use it for towing. So I'm not going to be chipping it and doing all that stuff, but I do want to get a 2500 eventually to be able to tow a little bit better with the trailer. If we're going to be doing this much traveling and stuff and towing and all that, I do want to get a Cummins. So just right now with the price of everything, it's kind of out of the budget. And I'm gonna make do with what we have right now, the Eco Diesel. I kind of do still want to keep the Eco Diesel even if I do get a 2500 Cummins, because that thing is awesome just to rip around and it's like a little car as far as the amount of fuel that it uses, but you get the luxury of a truck. So I can, today, I ran over, had to drive an hour away to go get my tires installed and changed and buy tires and then go to the tire shop. And I think it cost me I might have put $15 in diesel in it. it's just nice to be able to do stuff like that. Whereas if I get the if I get the Cummins, that thing's gonna be a pig, but at least it'll be more set up for towing for sure. So I kind of want to keep both. Like, I'd like to have a 2500 Cummins for towing all the stuff, for doing all the long haul stuff, and then just for running around town, keeping the eco diesel. Because like I said, that thing is awesome. Going on, like, we went on a road trip. Thing didn't use any fuel. We went all the way to Vegas, came all the way back. Like, it's awesome. I really like it. All right, let's see. O-Town's asking what engine is in the ProCharge F-150. Chevrolet or Ford? I'm not sure what you're asking, but yeah, we're pretty much all Mopar on the channel right now. My buddy has a twin turbo 5.3 Dakota. It has about 1200 horsepower allegedly. Well, they didn't even make a 5.3 Dakota, so I don't... Unless he poured it out and he's calling it a 5.3. I'm calling BS on that one. Henry says, keep your eyes open for a single cab while you're down south, getting the rear end done. Lots of rust-free trucks in the southern states. Yeah, I will, but as much as I'd like to start looking for one, I got to make sure that I don't want to have to buy it and then deal with having to shuffle it around while I tackle this move and stuff. So trying to keep my the amount of vehicles that I have to a minimum for now. I know we already have, 4 vehicles that we gotta shuffle around, but I'm not trying to have any more than that, because that just means we're gonna have more stuff to move. So, like I said, I'll probably end up trying to buy one afterwards. I say that now, but if a really good deal pops up, I would probably buy it. But yeah, I'm gonna try to wait as much as I can until we're relocated, so that I don't have to worry about getting that vehicle across country or wherever we end up relocating to. Will says, hey, did you ever had any ideas where you're going to put the hellcat swap? So I think I answered that, but yeah, the other hellcat's probably most likely going to go into a single cab Ram. Probably get one of those and make our own version of a modern day SRT8 instead of the SRT10 Viper truck. Kill Render, I'm in Mexico. Spanish? No, I don't speak Spanish, unfortunately. I wish I did, actually, but I never learned it growing up. JBZ, what wheel tire setup sounds killer? For which vehicle? And I'll try to give you a recommendation. Give you 1 second. Okay. All right. Back to our questions. I haven't seen too many people touch that second gen Durango on engine swaps. Yeah, not too many people have. And I guess the big part is the fact that it has 4-wheel drive, and there's not a whole lot of room in there. A lot of them have 4-wheel drive, I should say. So that's the one thing also with the Dakota swaps is you have to make sure if you guys come to Carlisle or wherever you end up seeing the truck, if you look inside of my engine bay, there's like no room whatsoever once you jam one of these engines in there. So maybe you could do it, but it's pretty space limited to get all that stuff in there. Let's see. Are you ever going to trade the EcoDiesel in on the comments? So I think I answered that question. I'm just catching up to you guys in the comments here. But yeah, depending on how I can manage everything, I would like to keep the EcoDiesel and use it as a little runner, like, running around town and trips and stuff like that. If I'm not towing heavy, because I kind of like it for running around. It's like, gets the fuel economy of a car, but I can go and it's kind of strange. So if I see a good deal on OfferUp, or on Facebook Marketplace, like say I see a set of wheels, and they're like 2 hours away. If you were in a 2500 Cummins and it's going to cost you $100 to get there and back, or whatever the case is, you're kind of like, not such a good deal. But when you have something like that, and there's a set of wheels that are on the other side of town, and you can run over there, get them, and come back, and it costs you $20 in fuel, you sit there and you make that calculation in your head and you go, yeah, I can run over there, like no big deal. Let me just zip over there, zip back, and it doesn't use any fuel. So that's one of the really good things, in my opinion, on the Eco Diesel. So I kind of want to keep it for that kind of stuff. Also, just running around town. Like, I used to have that little Jetta, which I ran around with, but now I have the Eco Diesel, which almost gets the same fuel mileage, and I can run around in a truck and not a little, pipsqueak car. So I kind of like it just for running around town. So if I can, I want to try to keep the Eco Diesel and get the Cummins 2500 as well for the towing. But like I said, we'll see how things go. Killender says your hat is so cool. Thank you. Don't listen to the EPA at all. If they ask questions, deny everything and tell them to leave. Yeah, the unfortunate part is there's some other guys. What the heck is there? Is it PFI? I think it's PFI. They're all over Instagram. They got hit pretty heavy. But the thing is, I guess they were selling some sort of parts. I don't know what part it is because they didn't mention it, but they got hit with a fine. Doesn't sound like too severe a fine. It was like $19,000. But, I mean, any fine is, crappy to have. But either way, like, I've heard of other people getting fined, like, stupid amounts of money. But they do all, like, tuning and, performance parts and all that stuff. And, yeah, you gotta watch out, like, as a company, watch out what you're offering. Because, yeah, they're going after, different people like that. Let's see. Question, did you sell the 5.9 engine canned and how much? Yeah, so we sold it pretty quick actually to a local subscriber. So he's got it ripped around in his truck, so that went pretty fast. Oh, 5.3 LS swap. Yeah, I mean, if it's got a 5.3 LS swap, I mean, those engines can handle a lot of boost. That's what I was making the point of earlier is, the LS swaps are no joke. They can handle a ton of power, and there's a ton of performance, stuff available for those engines. So yeah, I mean it's not if it's got the LS in it, you never know. It could be making it. Whether he can get to the ground and what transmission he's got on, that's another story. But yeah, it's possible. Let's see. Will Matic will get there one day. Yeah, man, just keep saving. You'll get one of these swaps one day. I mean, like I said, if you go to the junkyard and you do one of these junkyard swaps, you can put a junkyard Hemi in for, in my opinion, cheaper than you can build a Magnum engine for to make decent power. But like I said, I ran the numbers and that was the route I went instead of sinking a bunch of money into my 5.9 Magnum. A lot of people got upset about that at first, but I think everybody supports my decision now. Let's see. It's a 5-liter. I have Caltrac suspension upgrades. Nice. Nice. So supercharged 5-liter. Yeah, those things are no joke either. Is it a 10-speed? That's the biggest thing. Is if you got the 10-speed automatic transmission, then you're flying. I'd love to see someone hellcat swap a Grand Caravan or Pacifica. Well, the problem is that the dash is like kind of over top of the engine bay on that thing. I mean, not to say that it's not possible, but I feel like it'd be a ton of work. You'd have to cut a lot of stuff for sure. Love to see, Jesus, that stove, plug and play to swap a hellcat into a Ram. Yeah, more or less. So the nice thing about doing that with the 4th gen Ram, and why I kind of want to go that route, is there won't be so many differences in the electrical system as there was going from a 20-year span. So with the Dakota, everything from 99, jumping 20 years ahead to 2019, nothing is talking to each other. So that's why I just said, screw it, we'll yank out all the wiring and we're going to put all 2019 wiring in it, all the control modules, all the computers. That way this thing can just talk to itself. We don't have to try and integrate it into each other. So that's the one reason why I want to do the Ram, because I think it would be fun. As weird as this sounds, I think it would be easier. The engine would drop in. You don't really need any special motor mounts. It'll just drop into the Ram. since you'll be able to use the 3rd gen hemi mounts, which the truck is probably already going to have with whatever 5.7 or whatever we yank out of it. So that'll be, you know, pretty easy. I think there's a little bit of firewall mods we have to do, but again, with what we had to do to the firewall on this thing, I'm not worried at all. Like, if we have to cut or trim a little bit, re-weld something, like you guys saw how much cutting and trimming and welding we did on this. So, but the major thing is like the different cooling systems. So you're gonna have to put the supercharger cooling system on there, and yeah, getting all those different hoses routed, and as well as the oil cooler. So we're gonna have to put the oil cooler on there because I don't think the Ram has, like, the Ram doesn't have that big of an oil cooler on it as well. So we'll have to do some, you know, different cooling components and install that stuff. But other than that, like, the PCM generation is going to be the same. So we should be able to plug the hellcat harness into that stuff and be good to go. So yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of cool stuff. I'm kind of excited. The other nice thing too is, yeah, as long as we get the newer Ram, it's going to have electric power steering. So I'm not going to have to worry about power steering pumps and all that stuff. We can just run the engine that way. It's going to have electric power steering, so we won't have to worry about that. And it's, like I said, all the gauge cluster, all that stuff, since it's the same generation, it'll talk to, talk to everything. So we're not going to have to worry about like the speedo and all that stuff working, the same as like what we're fighting with now, but it's pretty cool. Let's see, get to a few more questions. Enrique showed up too. What's up, Enrique? Thanks again for being a member. He's live in the chat. It's been a while. I'm glad to see the hellcat has come a long way from the farming days. Hope to see some new merch in the future. Yeah, I gotta, like I said, once things calm down, right now I'm just like 110%, into getting this truck ready for the Carlisle Nationals, Chrysler Nationals in like 3 weeks. So we're making good progress, but just getting it dialed in, shaking down the truck, making sure she's all ready to go, and getting the brakes ready. Enrique, you haven't seen this. If you just got in here, check this out. So we got the calipers showing up. So I got to get these on the front. You guys will see in this weekend's hellcat video. I was trying to get the calipers that I had on there. Didn't work so well, so I got this. Showed up in the mail today. And then I have another one on its way, and then we'll be getting these on. So I gotta make brackets and stuff for these. But I got the rotors for them. I just have to get the brackets made, and yeah. Oh, also, you guys will, I don't know if you guys saw, if you guys are watching or follow me on Instagram, you'll see that I went to the junkyard. I picked up some newer spindles, and I got newer brakes. I don't think I'm gonna be using the calipers, so I might have those available if anybody's interested in them, they're pretty hard to find. But I did manage to get 03 Durango calipers, which that's like the cream of the crop as far as direct hellcat calipers. Direct Durango and Dakota calipers. A lot of guys are looking for the 03 Durango calipers because they have the 2-piston ones and they're bigger than any Dakota caliper. So I have those calipers, but I'm going to be putting on those pigs that I just showed you guys. Let's see. Motown says, I honestly would like to see a Vortex Supercharged Pacifica. That'd be crazy. I personally want to do a Lincoln LS with a 3.5 EcoBoost from the Lincoln Navigator. Yeah, those are all unique swaps too. Jesus says, I can pull the front wheels almost on my F-150, but it's strictly a race truck. It's tubbed out in the back, roll cage, and stripped interior. Yes, a 10-speed. Yeah, that thing flies. I mean, can't take anything away from me on that. It's definitely going to be a monster. Those F-150s are light too, with them being 10-speed, all aluminum trucks. Like, they're killing it. So that's awesome if you got one all set up like that. Can't take anything away from that. Like I said, the Dakota is going to take a little bit to shake down and stuff. So, and I'm not sure on the F-150s if they're factory 4-linked or not. But you guys can remember mine's not. But actually, you said you have Caltrax, so I think you still have Leafs in the back, right? Are you a certified mechanic? Nope, just an enthusiast. I guess gearhead. I don't know what you want to call me, but Motown says he does this better than the mechanics I see on my corner. Yeah, I mean, I've been wrenching ever since I was a kid, so I got ripped off at a young age by a lot of different shops and mechanics, and I just got frustrated. So I just figured if people are gonna rip me off and I was gonna pay money and things were gonna break and blow up, then I would just start doing it myself, and I would just self-educate myself. And if it broke or blew up, I had nobody else to blame but myself. So that was the mentality I had at a young age when I was, got my license, and I just started tinkering with everything. So whenever I would blow anything up or break anything, it was, I don't know, it was just a learning experience. I just used it and said, okay, well, I learned that, don't do that again, and I just moved on. But that to me felt a lot better than, for example, I'll give you guys two stories. I don't know if I ever told these before, but back in my Honda days, so you guys gotta remember when I was growing up, 16, 17, when we all had our license, the Honda days were, the Honda scene was really big. Hondas, all the lightweight 4-cylinders. That was I guess I would be 2004, 5-ish, somewhere around there. That was when, if you had a lightweight Honda, you could, beat up on, the Mustangs and the V8 vehicles. So that's kind of the time where I was growing up. So all my friends, a lot of my friends either had a Mustang, and they were neck and neck with a little lightweight Civic with full bolt-ons, and everybody was racing each other. So I ended up having a Honda Del Sol, a 2-seater little convertible car, or a T-top thing, or Targa top, I guess they call it. Kind of I don't know, kind of a corny car, but anyways, that was what I was building at the time. It had a B16 turbo, or B16 engine. I ended up turbocharging it with an eBay turbo kit. That's all I could afford at the time. Ran that for a bit. eBay turbo kept blowing up, kept putting turbos on it. And then eventually, I blew the engine. I blew the B16 in it. So when I did that, I figured, okay, well, I'll go ahead and I'll build the motor, right? So I didn't really know too much about engines and stuff like that, but I knew okay, I went on all the, back then there wasn't no YouTube and stuff like that, and there wasn't really groups on Facebook. It was more the forums. So you would go on forums, Honda forums and stuff like that, and you would have a username and you would chat with people from around the world that were building stuff. So I started learning and gathering information from there, finding out what parts were good to build something for Boost. So I started buying different parts to build, my ultimate engine that I was going to build. I started acquiring parts. I found a shop that said they could build me an engine. How much did I give that guy? I gave that guy, I think it was a few $1,000s. And he was going to build me a B20 VTEC that could hold Boost. So I gave him the money. He built me the engine. Took forever. There was some weird stuff. I was a kid. I didn't know any better. He said he was going to put a block guard in, and it was going to be strong and all this stuff, build the engine, and I was super excited about it. Took way longer than it was supposed to. I can't remember the exact timeline, but it took way too long. I had to not harass the guy, but kept bugging the guy, when are you going to finish, when are you going to finish, when are you going to finish? Finally, I get this engine. I put it in the car, and I'm doing all labor. I put the motor in with my friends, put it in, throw the turbo kit on it. It lasts not even 1 week. We got it professionally tuned with the tuner that he recommended. I didn't even tune it. It lasted less than 1 week and completely blew the engine. It cracked every single cylinder. Every cylinder was cracked. Engine was garbage. After waiting a ton of time, I asked him, hey, can you reimburse me? Can you build me another engine? Your engine didn't even last. I used your tuner. He said, no, I drove it too hard. He's not going to warranty anything. So he pretty much just screwed me over at anything. He wasn't going to give me a penny back. So I was super pissed off about that. So I said, okay, well, I'm going to build an engine properly this time. So here was phase 2 of it. So I got I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Honda scene. I got a Golden Eagle sleeved block. Or Golden Eagle, or it might have had Darton sleeves. I can't remember. It's been so long. But anyways, it was a fully sleeved block. I think I had Golden Eagle rods. I got forged pistons for it, the works, all this stuff. I had a head and all this stuff. And then I went and I needed to go to a machine shop, so I thought, to get this whole thing assembled. So I brought all the parts. I had all the valve train and everything. I asked the guy how much he's going to charge me to build it. He says, no more than $2,000. Okay, fine. Here's all my parts. I had like $5,000 in parts back then, which was quite a bit of money. Gave him all my parts. He tells me a time frame. Same thing. Taking forever. Delay. He tells me, what did he say? He said that my heads, he needed to put new valve guides in it. He said, hey, your valve guides in your head are shot. Do you want to put new ones in? I would recommend it. Sure, put them in. How much can it be? Ends up happening, delay. I go to pick it up. He goes, okay, your engine's ready. I'm like, okay. Like I said, again, he quoted me like, I want to say it was maybe $2,000, which again was a lot of money back in like 05, 06 ish. And I went to go pick it up, or I asked him how much the total bill was, and he tells me like some stupid price, like at least double, maybe triple the price of what he originally quoted me, like $5,000 or either $5,000 or $7,000, like something astronomical. And I was like in disbelief. I'm like, what? I'm like, what are you talking about? You said it was this price. And anyways, long story short, I said, okay, fine. Like if it's $5,000 or whatever the number was, can I at least pay cash, to avoid, whatever the taxes, since $5,000 it's gonna turn into $6,000 or whatever. He goes, no, that's gonna be plus tax. So it was gonna be like an extra $1,000, something stupid. Like taxes in Canada are crazy. So, anyways, I got so pissed off and I said, fine, screw it, whatever. I hung up the phone. You can keep the motor. Because he wanted more than what I had in parts. So what I found out later he did, his son really wanted all that. Like, he really wanted that motor because his son was into the same stuff, and he had a Civic that he wanted to put it in. So essentially what the guy did was steal from me. He way overpriced the job, knowing that I wouldn't pay it, so that I would just walk away from the motor, and he would keep my motor. So that's what he did. I got so pissed off that I ended up selling the car. I was like done. I was like, screw it, I'm not going to modify anything. And then I went and bought an S2000 when I was like 18. I found one in Texas. It was a really good price. Flew all the way there with my dad. Picked it up, drove it home. I'm like, all right, this thing's got power. It's a sports car. It's already set up. I don't need to do anything. And I just figured, I was just going to enjoy it. But that was short-lived. I ended up buying a Greddy turbo kit for it. It was supposed to be plug and play, like with the piggyback ECU way back then. So you're able to put this kit on, you put on the piggyback ECU, wire it all up, and then it's supposed to just be, you have a turbocharged car. So I did all that, installed the whole thing. You guys got to remember, like, I'm like 17, 18 at the time. Install the whole thing. I'm ready to go. Get out to the, road. My buddy's in the car. We're all excited. We got, the turbocharged S2000 at like 17, 18 years old, which, back then, not that many people had those cars because they were still really expensive, but I found one for cheap. Floor it. We're both stuck to the seat, or, whatever we thought was fast at the time. Like, we're like, oh, that's crazy. I do it a second time, floor it, pulls hard, slows down. I let my foot off the gas, and the RPM just goes flat. I clutch in, it literally just goes zero. Nothing. I'm like, what the heck just happened? I put it in, it's manual, right? I put it in neutral, put my foot on the clutch, it's got to push the start button, push the start, and like, when you start an engine and then like, you can hear it overcoming the compression, like the starter motor, like, it literally just went zzz, like nothing. We ended up going back to my house, getting, I think my mom's 4Runner, towing it back to the house with a strap. I take out the spark plugs. There's like no spark plug, nothing, and they're just all metal on it. It literally, so the piggyback ECU, again, I bought the turbo kit used. Whatever piggyback ECU, like whatever was loaded into it, didn't have the right programming, or something was wrong with the programming, so it literally just grenaded my motor instantly. I don't know how much boost we hit, but I had no idea. So I completely, like, when we took everything out, like, there was chunks of pistons coming off the thing from, like, literally 2 pulls. So again, that's one of my learning experiences, and I found another motor. That motor was essentially trashed, so I took that motor out, bought another motor, put a new motor in, and then I actually went from a 2 liter to a 2.2 liter because I found a newer engine and put that in. And then at this point, I've got a bunch of experience under my belt with wrenching and building stuff and modifying stuff. And I put a huge single turbo on the next engine. Got a completely different turbo kit. Sold that one with a piggyback. I went with a AEM standalone at the time, and then we started making some power. So I was making, or sorry, there was 2 different kits. I went with it was called Ultimate Racing at the time. So I had an Ultimate Racing kit on the car, and we were making, I think, we started off making 370 at the wheel. And that was pretty good power as a log manifold. Did that for a while. Back then, people were putting head gasket spacers, so like a thicker head gasket to lower the compression. That was kind of the way people were doing things back then. We put that in, and I was making 500 wheel on that kit, but I was kind of maxed out with that log manifold. So then I wanted more power, sold that kit, got a PFAB top mount, so it was like a tubular, like ram horn looking thing, and it had a huge precision turbo on it, and we ran that at, what did we end up making? Ran that kit, I think I was running 23 pounds spraying, we're running on 93 octane, spraying methanol injection, and I built all this stuff myself because I went from Honda Del Sol eBay kit to I think I had a full race eBay kit, or sorry, a full race turbo kit for the Del Sol. Blew all that stuff up, and then we went from a Greddy. We went for actually sorry, I messed up. It wasn't a Greddy turbo kit on this 2000. It was an Ultimate Racing kit that we installed. So yeah, I went from different turbo kits and slowly built my way up and wrenching and all that stuff and figuring out turbo kits on 4-cylinder Honda engines. But yeah, we ended up making 607 horsepower at the wheel on that S2000 with the PFAB top mount kit. And that car's still running today. I even bought a spare motor because of all my past experience. I was like, okay, this engine's going to pop eventually pushing it this hard. And ended up never blowing that engine up. That thing's still running today with the current owner. And he still has the same Pro Charger. I'm getting tired. Same turbo kit, the PFAB top mount on that thing, and it still hasn't grenaded. So that motor is solid. If you guys don't know, the S2000 motors come with forged internals from the factory, and there's guys making 700 to 1,000 wheel horsepower on stock engines. Like, those engines are crazy for a boost. But yeah, everything's just advanced that way. So a lot of guys are asking, how I got all the skills or whatever, or like how I started wrenching on stuff. That's kind of the backstory. And in the midst of that, I always grew up racing motocross and then snowcross. So I was always wrenching and rebuilding my engines, all my 2-stroke stuff. And then when 4-strokes started coming along, I started messing with, having to rebuild my 4-strokes and do valve clearances and all the timing chains and stuff. And then when I moved into the Honda world, it was the same thing. The Honda S2000 motor had a timing chain and, hooking everything up, making sure everything was at TDC, top dead center, and all that stuff. That's how everything came to be. And then, I just started stepping my way across, or stepping my way up. But yeah, the reason why I sold the S2000 is that engine made a ton of power. Like I said, it made 607 at the wheel, which was a rocket ship in like a 2,500 pound car. So that thing was nuts. Like, we ran street bikes and stuff like that, and it would walk away from a leader bike. And that was with a buddy riding with full exhaust, full bolt-ons on the bike on an R1 with power commander and all that stuff. And that S2000 was leaving the bike behind. So that thing was stupid back then. But yeah, that's my little story on why I started wrenching myself. But yeah, like I said, I was working on my dirt bikes and snow wheels and all that stuff. And even our Sea-Doos and stuff, always tinkering with that stuff. So always been a gearhead, and that's how it came to be. Let me see what you guys are saying. Will Maddox says, damn, people be dirty. I can imagine how many more people that guy played. Yeah. I'm trying to remember what the name of that place was called. Back then, with 7Gs, you could probably have bought like 3 Civics. Yeah, like, it's, like I said, not to sound like an old person, but yeah, like, that was a lot of money back then. I remember that for sure. It was like all my savings for like a year, I swear, is gone. What do you think should I do performance-wise for my 2012 Cadillac CTS 3-liter, no turbo or supercharger? I do have an intake. If you want my honest opinion, I would, because I'm guilty of this myself, not to sound like an ass or anything, but I would just enjoy what you have for what it is. I think more people, need to do that. If I had saved, and even with my own project, if I had saved, and not spent money on a vehicle that I know and everybody else knows is really not what your ultimate dream is or goal or something that has potential, don't sink money into something that isn't ultimately what you want it to be. So what I mean by that is, like, you have a 2012 CTS. If you want like the ultimate performance vehicle and you like Cadillac, instead of spending money on your CTS with a 3-liter, I would save that money, put it aside, do whatever you got to do, put it in a separate account or keep a mental note or an Excel spreadsheet, whatever you want to do. But start saving that money that you would have spent on your CTS with a 3-liter and start putting that aside for, CTS-V. I'm not saying that's your vehicle, but like, if you want like the pinnacle of a Cadillac CTS, which would be the CTS-V, like I would just save that money, put it aside, and just save for that. And that's kind of what I started doing. I sold pretty much all my cool crap when I was like early 20s because I knew I wanted something cooler. So I sold my 607 wheel horsepower S2000, sold it, cashed out. I had a 2009 Ram 1500 decked out, and it was only like 2 years old at the time. Like nobody that I knew or of my age had that thing all decked out and everything. And then I sold that too, cashed out of that thing, and I literally went out and I bought a $1,700 2001 Volkswagen TDI, and I drove around in this beater for like 2 years just scrounging money. And I actually saw my truck. I almost freaking brought a tear to my eye. I saw my truck driving by, and I'm sitting here in this $1,700 Golf TDI that I sold everything and bought this piece of junk for a while. But it was really good on fuel, and I saved a bunch of money, and I ended up just saving a bunch of money and saving for what I ultimately wanted. So I just started putting all my money aside, and then I ended up getting what I actually wanted, which was the Viper, because that was something I always wanted as a kid. Like I said, set my money aside and ended up finally making it happen one day. But had I kept spending money on, something that I knew wasn't what I ultimately wanted, I would have never got there. So, I don't know. I wish somebody probably would have said that to me when I was younger, but I think it's just, sometimes you need to take a step back and look at that kind of stuff. So, because you're not going to be able to, like I said, and I've seen examples of it, and I don't even know the person. Everybody's seen it. You drive down the street and you see like a Toyota Camry, and you laugh at the car, but the person sunk like stupid amounts of money into it. They've got they look like they crashed right through the front door and out the back door of an AutoZone, and they bought every single accessory you could possibly have, every stupid little sticker, the stupid vents that go on the front fenders and, all that junk. And, maybe they have it wrapped and they got wheels on it and underglow and all that crap on it, or put a wing on it, but like, that car is not what they're trying to make. It's not a sports car, and they probably spent a stupid amount of money to try to make it look cool, but I think at least they probably know it's never going to be that car, but that's all they had, and they decided to throw a bunch of money in it. But if you take that money that you spend on that, save it for what you really want, I think it's just a better way of going. So hopefully that makes sense. Motown says, your testimony will definitely change someone's life, and thank you for sharing your experience. No, thank you guys for joining and sticking around for all these different builds that we're doing. But hopefully, I don't know, like I said, I don't like to sound like an old man and stuff and tell you not to spend money on doing cool stuff. I mean, within reason, right? If you're gonna spend a little bit of money, fine, but unless what what you have right now is your ultimate goal, I think you're better off to save it for something that you want instead. What are a couple things I can start to do with my 2000 Dakota RT? Only have K&N intake and Spintech exhaust, or just tell me which video of yours to watch. Yeah, just go back through all the old videos, and they're not that old. They're like, last year or the year before. We went through a full, series of building that Dakota and doing every single bolt on. We went to the track, and if you watch all the track videos, I usually describe or I talk about, why we're going to the track and what we just installed to see if it made any difference. We threw quite a bit of parts at the 5.9, and it still was not that fast. I mean, in the end, we ran some single cab RTs, pretty much stock ones, and we were pretty close. But I mean, if the single cab RT had any serious work done or had like some bolt-ons, there was no way that we were going to keep up. So, yeah, I don't know. I can't expect everybody to want to go out and swap their engine, but if you're trying to go fast, I would consider it. I would seriously consider, not spending a bunch of money on the Magnum platform if you're really trying to go fast. If you're just trying to have some fun, you could probably do the basic stuff. You already have spin tech headers. Probably get a huge air gap intake on it. You got the headers. Throw a cam in. That's the other major thing. And if you really want to go all out, get some of those. Get an aftermarket set of heads on it, and then she'll be able to breathe. Like, the limiting things are the cam and the heads and the intake manifold. If you can get it to breathe, then you can make more power, but you're still not going to, like, cost versus power, like, as far as bang for buck or bang per horsepower, that engine is brutal to try to squeeze power out of. Cameron says, hey, what's up, Cameron? I love watching your Dodge Dakota build. Thank you, sir. Join late. No problem, man. Better late than never, right? Andrew, it's nuts and super entertaining to watch. Yeah, thanks, man. I'm trying to give you guys like as much content as possible and show you guys kind of the reality of it all. Building that thing and the week to week, day to day, and ordering all the parts and getting it to where it is. So sometimes I feel like maybe it could be a bit more exciting. I think the excitement factor is going to come when we get to go to all these different events and racing and all that stuff and actually go and enjoy it. But right now I'm just kind of documenting building it, and a lot of guys like it, but yeah, the content will be making a shift here soon. We'll be hopefully spending a little less time in the garage and actually enjoying like the fruits of our labor here pretty soon. Jay says, my dad always said you don't want your car to look like you went on a shopping spree at AutoZone. That's true, man. Like I said, I've seen it before too. We always die laughing. Like, if your car looks like you literally crashed through the front door at an AutoZone and you came out the other side with all these freaking stickers and stuff stuck to your car, then it's probably not a good look. Henry says, I'm an old man, and I think you're so right in what you said about saving. It took me a while to figure it out. You're wise before your time. Awesome. Yeah, like I said, it kind of sucked at the time because, again, and I know exactly what everybody's going through because everybody at the younger age is going out, spending, and I don't know, I think it's kind of changed and a shift a little bit. I see it a little bit differently. I don't see so many people spending money on a car that they, isn't exactly their dream car or their goal, whether it's realistic or unrealistic, right? I'm not saying, don't ever spend money on your car and, save up for, a $250,000 Lamborghini or Ferrari. I'm just saying, like, within reason. Like, say you're driving a Civic and your goal is to have, a Corvette Z06. Like, that's within reason. Like, start saving for that and figure out ways to get there versus spending all your money on trying to make your Civic as fast as a Z06. I don't know. Doesn't have to be those two examples, but that's all I'm saying. But yeah, at the same time, like, I felt it too, which, if you're younger, I completely understand the feeling because all my friends, like I said, when I give you that little story of, me selling my car, my truck, my lifted truck and my, 700 horsepower sports car, and then going out and buying a $1,700 diesel Volkswagen car, it was a piece of junk. Like, all my friends were still going out and they had all the cool cars and stuff, and they're like, dude, what the hell are you doing with that piece of crap? And it was gut wrenching, but at the same time I knew where I was headed, and like today, that's why everybody sits there and says, what do you do? Like, how do you have all this? It was because I kind of sacrificed early so that I could get ahead, now. So And yeah, I don't know. That's my little words of wisdom for tonight's live. Awesome. Thanks, man. I just recently came across your channel. Love the swap. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. I thought putting a V8 in a Ford Ranger was nuts, but a hellcat motor, holy cow. I hear you. Jay says you should make a separate video saying what you just said about spending / saving money, or cut this clip out and post it. Yeah, I mean, I could if you guys think it's valuable. Like I said, I don't I'm not like some sort of motivational speaker here, but that's just my take on everything in perspective. And I know a lot of you guys, you know, ask, and you know, how do you afford this? How do you afford that? But like, I've had to like, how do I even say it? Like, I've had to do different things to be able to get ahead different ways. And like I said, a lot of people like look at what I have and like the stuff that's on it, and they're like, how do you afford this? How do you afford that? I've said before in other videos, like I rarely buy stuff, you know, from a dealer, full price, whatever, because there's no way I'd be able to afford it. Like, for example, this caliper right here, I just bought it off eBay, and I guess I can show you guys anyways, but here, I'll spin it around. Boom. So now you guys know what I'm putting on the car, or truck. Car parts on a truck. So this is a brand new Viper caliper. It's not even in this weekend's video, but I'm kind of just giving you guys a sneak peek on this live. So I had to go out and buy these. You guys will see the reasons why I had to go this route versus what I already had from the Hellcat calipers. But you'll see all that on this weekend's episode on the Hellcat video. But for example, this caliper, if you guys go on eBay and try to find these, they're stupid expensive. But yeah, there's no secrets. I ended up getting this one off eBay. The guy had it for pretty cheap, in my opinion. It was $250 shipped. But this one's brand new. It's not off a used car. So I thought that was pretty good. And he also threw in the brakes. So there's brand new brake pads and the clips and everything in this bag. So this is a brand new caliper, never installed, $250. And then I was trying to find, this is the driver's side front. So depending on how you're looking at it, this driver's side front. But they're different side to side, because you'll notice like they have the bleeders on the top and a line on the bottom, and you know this face is out. So you have to get the opposite side. And I was trying to find a front passenger side, and I was having some difficulties. So a local place over here wanted $250 for a beat up looking caliper, which I would then have to paint, and then I would have to try to match it to this, and it just sounded like a headache. They wanted $500 for a pair of them plus tax for used calipers. I found this one, but I didn't find a matching one. And then I spent probably an hour or two trying to find something that made sense. Finally found one. I went on car-part.com. And if you guys have never done that, you can go on car-part.com and you can search every single wrecking yard, and you can find whatever you need. That's actually how I found the Durango, the 03 Durango spindles and brakes, was on car-part.com. So I went on there and I found a wrecking yard over in, I think, Missouri. Had the front right caliper, and I wanted to make sure it was in good condition. I called them over there to the wrecking yard, asked them if they can send me some pictures. It has like a couple little marks like right here. The face of it's all clean, but it's missing a couple, like, it looks like maybe some wheel weights like dragged across here, but you're never going to see it once on the vehicle. You're just going to see that. But he was asking $150 plus shipping, and then he said, hey, it actually has some nicks on it. I said, hey, can you do any better on price? He's like, yeah, no problem, I got you. $150 shipped. So that means that I got this caliper, like I said, $230 plus $150. So where are we at? What is that? No. Sorry, it's late. 150 plus 230. So we're at like what, 380? I don't know. I'm so tired I can't even think right now. But anyways, matter of the fact is we got them for under $400 for two calipers, and it's $500 plus shipping all day long on eBay, if you can even find them, because they're getting hard to find. So it's not that I'm balling out. I just am pretty resourceful at finding good deals so that we can make all this happen without going bankrupt. So, yeah, like I said, apparently I can't do math right now. I'm a freaking zombie and I gotta get some dinner. Let's see. Normally easy math is easy for me. There you go. So yeah, I was right. $380 is 150 plus 230. So $380, like I said, just under $400, and we got both front calipers, but I got all the other stuff, and I got the Earl's brake lines all coming. We got a bunch of stuff. Well, let me see if I can get to some of your comments, and then we're gonna wrap it up here in just a second. So yeah, as far as like the stuff, I think I have made a video like that. Maybe I'll make another one since there's a lot more people joining the channel these days. But yeah, or maybe I can cut it out of this, like you said. I'll see how the video quality is afterwards. Maybe we'll make a separate video out of it. This truly is a great live tonight. Keep up the good work as usual. Thank you, sir. What's up? What's up? All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna call it for tonight. Like I said, I was out all day. I was working on the Dakota. Had a bit of a heart attack moment with the Dakota today, which you guys will see in this weekend's video. I was up testing it a little bit. Saw some smoke, but everything's good. I won't alarm you guys too much. We're still all good, but definitely gave me a mini heart attack today. But and I still got to pick up the part that failed on the Dakota as well. So I got to get that done tomorrow. Get the new wheels on, and like I said, I haven't had dinner yet, so I'm gonna go eat some food. And I just came back from getting the tires mounted, the new tires and all that stuff. So before you guys take off, make sure you give a thumbs up. It does help the video and support the channel. Thanks everybody that's joined. Thanks everybody for joining tonight. Have a good weekend. You guys will see the Hellcat videos this weekend, or the latest episode. I just got to upload it. It's a 1 hour episode, you guys. So super long episode. Let me know how you guys like the longer video when you guys see it, and I'll see you guys on there. Take care. Have a good weekend.